Justin Trudeau just can't get enough of China. I like China too, the people, the culture, the language, the food, the architecture, the history, but that's actually not what Justin Trudeau likes about China. He likes China's basic dictatorship.
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say we need to go green as fast as we need to start investing in solar. I mean, there is a flexibility that I know Stephen Harper must dream about of having a dictatorship that he could do everything he wanted that I find quite interesting.
That basic dictatorship, that's the worst part of China. It's not even really China, it's a corrupt, nepotistic, fascist party that controls the other 99% of the country. But because it has the hammer and sickle on it, leftists around the world swoon, and because they've got a lot of money in China, the crony capitalists and schemers swoon, so Trudeau and the lobbyists who surround him. The Communist Party of China represents real China as poorly as the Communist Party of the Soviet Union represented real Russians. It doesn't represent them, it actually oppresses them. But that's the part that Trudeau likes best. When China becomes free, I think Trudeau and gang will actually like it less. Anyways, the news now is China's foreign minister, Wang Yi, came to Canada for meetings with Trudeau and Stephane Dion, the foreign minister, and they had a press conference. Now, Canada's reporters got together and agreed on a joint question. Normally, I don't like that kind of collusion, but when, in this case, it made sense when dealing with a dictator's spokesman. You might only get one shot to ask a question. So here, listen to the question, obviously written by a committee, had too many parts in it, but it made the point. Listen.
There are no shortage of concerns about China's treatment of human rights advocates, such as the Hong Kong booksellers, and its detention of the Garretts, not to mention the destabilizing effects of its territorial ambitions in the South China Sea. Given these concerns, why is Canada pursuing closer ties with China? How do you plan to use that relationship to improve human rights and security in the region? And did you specifically raise the case of the Garretts during your discussions with the Foreign Minister today?
Well, China's man lost his cool. Listen to him go on a tirade in response.
I want to make a response to the questions asked by this journalist about China. I have to say that your question is full of prejudice and against China and arrogance, where I don't know where that comes from. And this is totally unacceptable. I have to ask whether you understand China. Have you been to China? Do you know that China has lifted more than 600 million people out of poverty? And do you know that China is now the second largest economy in the world from a very low foundation? Do you think development is possible for China without protection of human rights? And do you know that China has written protection and promotion of human rights into our constitution? And other people don't know better than the Chinese people about the human rights condition in China. And it's the Chinese people who are in the best situation, in the best position to have say about China's human rights situation. So I would like to suggest to you that please don't ask questions in such an irresponsible manner. And we welcome goodwill suggestions, but we reject groundless or unwarranted accusations.
So instead of answering the question, the Chinese foreign minister attacked Canada, attacked our free press, attacked our right to ask questions of powerful people, said it was arrogance, said it was, quote, totally unacceptable, said reporters should not ask such a question. If this were back in China, that reporter would be in prison by now. Dictator's gonna dictate, tyrant's gonna be tyrannical. No big surprise there. Actually, a bit of a surprise. You'd think that a man of his experience and seniority would be able to control his emotions and have come up with some calm and boring blather instead of showing that rage. But look at Stephane Dion, Mr. Human Rights himself, just standing there meekly, blinking, wishing his mummy was there. He didn't say a word in defense of free speech or free press, didn't say a word to rebuke his foreign counterparts, standing in Ottawa, trashing Canadian freedoms, telling Canadian reporters what they're doing is totally unacceptable. Wang Yi is who he is. He's a dictator's errand boy, Other than losing face and embarrassing himself, he did his job. But Stephane Dion, he's the foreign minister. He's charged with projecting freedom and Canadian values around the world. That little man couldn't even find the courage to project those values in his hometown. What a coward. Hey, do you miss Stephen Harper yet? For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant. Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.